Welcome back to iShine Connect.
Hey guys, today we're going to be reading in 1 Corinthians 10:23. It says, "You say I'm allowed to do anything, but not everything is good for you. You say I'm allowed to do anything, but not everything is beneficial." When I think about this verse in reference to how many hours I spend on Facebook or the type of music I listen to or the video games I play, it's not necessarily that everything is bad for me. Maybe my music doesn't have a lot of cuss words in it, but is it good for me? Is it really feeding into my heart and who I want to be? So the next time you're sitting around playing video games for 12 hours or listening to music that isn't bad for you, consider this. Is it good?
Social media is really big in this generation, especially Facebook and Twitter. And sometimes I catch myself spending too much time on Facebook.
I think that a lot of people do abuse media. They spend all their life on social networking sites and just online games, and when they could really just be devoting their lives to Christ. And by the end of the night, I know that sometimes I'm even guilty of this. It's 10 o'clock and I'm exhausted. I want to go to bed. And I wasted my time on the internet whenever I could really spend it doing daily devotions.
I've struggled with media overload. I've spent hours on my computer before, and then I've realized that I've wasted my whole day, and that, it's just a bunch of junk, going into my head. And it's very important to make sure that what's coming in is clean. But even too much of clean stuff can be bad.
If all you do is sit there and watch TV, then all you know is what happens in you don't know what goes on in real life, because all you know is what you see on TV, and then it's a script. You can write anything.
I think people these days spend a lot of time on their phones and on the computers, and spending too much time on a computer is really not healthy for you and it's not good for you, and I think you should get out of the house and go out and actually meet people and hang out with them instead of just texting them all the time.
I don't know about you guys, but when I need advice, I go to my mom. Here's my mom in a little segment we like to call Mama Mona.
Media has changed so much since I was a little girl. Let me tell you, especially the form of media called television. When I was a little girl, every night around 11 p.m. or midnight or so, television went off. I mean, totally off. It was like little snowballs across the screen. So much has changed, and there's so much more media, not just television, but radio and newspapers and magazines and things on the internet, and so much more exposure. But just because there's so much more, it doesn't mean it's good. A lot doesn't necessarily mean really good. Sometimes a whole lot could mean really bad. I want to challenge you to think about the things that you watch. Think about the things that you listen to. The Bible clearly says that whatever you do, do it unto the glory of God. I mean, maybe it's video games that you're playing. Ask yourself the question, would I play these video games with Jesus? Is it a movie that Jesus would watch with you? Is it a song that Jesus could get up and dance to? You know what? Think about it. You have to make these decisions. You have to think about these things that are going into you. The Bible says it's not what goes into you that will mess you up, but it's what comes out of you. Make sure that whatever you do, all things that you do it unto the glory of God. God will be pleased, and you'll have a much better life. This has been Mama Mona. Peace out.
And right now we're here with Eric Morell. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm golden. Thanks for asking. Right. So I'm just curious. You do social media stuff, and you're an expert at all of these things. So what is your job? I mean, what do you actually do?
I actually do several jobs. I work for a local church. I'm the communication director there, where I get to work with social media a lot. I work with an organization called Creative Missions, which I can tell you more about in a minute. And I design websites and do lots of things like that, too.
Nice. So you've got a ton of jobs, but they all sound like really cool jobs.
Yeah, they're
fun.
I'm
curious about this creative. I mean, I'm a musician. Creativity just sounds cool. So tell me about the Creative Missions organization.
Yes. Well, the quick explanation, I grew up going on lots of different mission trips, going on construction trips, doing sports camps, and those weren't my areas of giftedness, and so I wanted to get together with some other folks who were good at computers and design and that sort of stuff. And so we decided to make a team of missionaries that goes to different churches throughout the country and does mission trips with that sort of stuff. Creates logos, creates websites, helps churches design things. It's lots of fun.
Nice. So did you just wake up one morning and say, nice, I like to design and make things and tweet? Or did you always know you were going to do this?
Well, I always enjoyed doing that stuff. I grew up playing tons of video games and messing around on the computer all the time. So that's just something that's fun to me. And that just naturally kind of turned into a career. And now I do that now to make a living.
That's awesome. Isn't it so good to get to do what you love and love what you do?
Yes, I love my work every day. Yeah.
That's so awesome. Well, I've got to ask you, I mean, since we're talking about social media, I'm all about that stuff. And I'm curious, do you have a favorite when it comes to YouTube or Facebook or Twitter and all those things?
I really like Twitter. I like the idea of being able to figure out what the entire world is talking about at any certain time. You don't have to become friends first. I just kind of like that part of it.
Yeah. It's almost like a mini version of the Facebook and even MySpace and all those things.
Absolutely.
Back in my day.
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to take a look at a clip from an episode of iShine Connect where some of the kids went a little crazy when it comes to social media.
Would you just take a moment and look at the kids? Just look at them. Yeah. They are completely oblivious to the world around them.
No, they're not.
Yes, yes, they are.
No, watch this. Hey, everybody! Look, it's Bigfoot! And he's brought his alien friends. They're all dancing around the maypole. Look, I cut my pinky off and I'm shoving it up my nose. Yeah, that is pretty bad.
When I ran the boarding school, Mr. Bridges, cellular telephones and such were not allowed on school premises.
Was fun allowed on school premises?
Hey. Really, she has a point.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I see you guys on the phone and on lines, and I think we ought to look into how to monitor what they're taking in.
Do you think social media is that big of an issue in today's time?
It really is. If you look at how much time people spend online, it's crazy. Did you know that more than 1 billion people use Facebook right now? That's just Facebook. I mean, that's 3 United States put together. That's how many people are spending time on Facebook every day. So it's a big deal, and people can spend too much time doing that stuff, but there's lots of good things that happen on Facebook and social networks too.
Yeah, I mean, that's so true, because I can only imagine you're saying, like 1 billion people are on Facebook.
Yes.
And if all of those people were using Facebook for good, I mean, can you tell us some of the good things that can come out of social media?
Yeah, absolutely. And, before we talk about the good stuff, just to mention a few of the bad things that happen, people do get bullied online. People do give out too much information and get into trouble doing that sort of thing. So you got to be careful about that stuff too. But there's a lot of good things that you can do with social media. Hang out with your friends. You can share the things that you're interested in, the music you're listening to, fun stuff like that. You can also use it to share your faith, which of course is really important. And it's a great way to do that because it's a casual and fun place to do it. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I gotta say, I'm a big fan of social media. I actually joined iShine because they saw me on YouTube.
Oh,
so
awesome! That's
it's been the craziest thing.
How cool! Yeah.
So can you tell us some of the do's and don'ts of social media? Because you're an expert, and while we've got you here, I've got to get all the answers.
Yes, absolutely. Well, of course, you don't want to share too much personal information. You want to keep it just with your friends and the people that you actually know. But you do want to, meet new friends and connect with new folks. I mentioned sharing your faith on social media. It's a great place to do it. Just sharing Bible verses with friends or talking about your own story of how you came to know Christ. That's a great way to do that. Don't get into arguments, though. It's okay to join in conversations, but you don't want to get into arguments or be rude or use foul language, But those are just a few easy things that you can do.
Yeah, well, that's some awesome advice, and thank you so much for joining us today on iShine.
Absolutely.
And for you guys watching at home, we'll be back in a little bit.
We'll be right back after this short break.
My technique when I get in the batter's box is to dig in, pull the pant legs up. I try to point the bat to center field, knock the dirt off, and try to look real mean. What do you think of that?
Major League Baseball Charities is a proud partner of Boys and Girls Clubs of America.
Now I want to teach you about pine tar.
Through programs like RBI and Rookie League, they bring baseball and softball to kids around the world.
Don't be afraid of the ball.
Together, they create a positive place for kids.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.